Hey there, it's Lance.
And Jeremy.
And this is Hard to Master, which is a part of Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. And in this Hard to Master video, we're going to be checking out Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy.
Versus the real Dune, a game of conquest, real diplomacy, and betrayal.
Betrayal. Both of these games come from Gale Force 9. You are probably familiar with the Dune that you see here on this side. This version of Dune is new. It just came out this year. I picked up my copy at Gen Con. If you've watched my Gen Con haul video, you saw that I had this and showed it off to you a little bit in that. Taking an overhead view here, you can see the components that you have in both of these games. Taking a look up here, this is going to be your board that you get in the Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy. We're going to call this Dune 2. How about that?
I call it Movie Dune.
Movie Dune. All right, I like that. Movie Dune, because as you can see, it does have the licensing rights to the new Dune movie with all of those famous actors, which it's kind of odd that a lot of them happen to be in the MCU and the DC comics as well. Interesting that they are reusing those actors. But anyhow.
Jonah Heck.
And this is going to be your board that you have with Dune. What year did that come out? Is that 2019?
Which one?
This one right here. 20
is on the, I think, on the edge of 2018, 2019, depending on what you look at for your information.
And you're going to see that I have the components over here on this side for Movie Dune. We've got our spice cards, our battle cards, trader cards, and market cards, as well as your player boards. And I'm going to go ahead and move this box out of the way. Your player boards here, you're going to only have 4 houses in Movie Dune. That's one of the big differences, as it only plays from 2 to 4 players. You've got Atreides, House Atreides, House Harkonnen, House Freeman, and the Imperium. And so you are only going to have those 4. You do still have your leaders, and I'm going to show you the dwell here, and the insert. You have space here for each of your houses, and you do have the same leader tokens as you're familiar from original Dune, but they are going to have the movie art on them. It's not really art, it's actual pictures of the characters from the movie. You do have your spice, but your spice is going to be a little different than the regular Dune, as it's all the same color. It's really difficult to differentiate between that. As you can see over here, you've got different shades, at least, of sand spice to differentiate the different values, whereas in Movie Dune, it's all the same shade of brown, beige, brown, whatever color that is, tan. You do have, this is one little nice upgrade, you do have some tile overlays that will go on top of the strongholds so that it pops out a little bit, which is so important because if you can tell, the Movie Dune board over here it's very spacey. It looks more space-like than your board that you have down here. But man, are these difficult to differentiate?
I mean, I'm looking at the screen right now, and it's from the angle I have. You can see the rock areas, but the differentiation between the sanded areas, you can't really see very well. I mean, you can see a difference in the stronghold, even without this, which that does help. So this is the only thing you can see a difference, where right here you can see it's a clear cut. This is where this is. This is where this is. The only thing you can't really see as much are the separation lines where the storm are, but you also can't really see them up here either. So it's the same.
And I honestly, I appreciate these bold, dark lines compared to the white division lines, even if it does kind of mess with a little bit with the storm sectors. To me, it's more important to know the different regions than it is the storm sectors, because you've got the storm tile that's going to be moving around the board, and that helps you to know what sector the storm is in.
Is that? Let me see it.
Yeah,
it's very similar to the other one.
Yeah, those are pretty close to the same.
Unless you have the miniature, and then the miniature.
Yeah.
If you get the Barnes & Noble version or you get the vinyl playmat, it'll come with miniatures, and
there are no miniatures in Movie Dune.
you could put this in there. It still
you could
fits.
probably take it
I mean,
from
it still
it.
pretty much fits.
The boards are exactly the same layout. The planet looks exactly the same. As you can see, Movie Dune board is slightly bigger. It's going to take up
Wider.
a little bit more space on the
This
table.
one I think is longer though.
It may be longer.
I think this is longer, this is wider.
Right. Yeah. The Movie Dune board is it's going to have the turns, and it's only 5 turns. That is one big difference between Movie Dune and Original Dune, where Original Dune could go all the way up to 10 turns. Movie Dune can go up to 5.
I'd say 10 rounds, but
Rounds,
another one is you can't win in round 1 or 2 of this.
That is true.
You can win in round 1 or 2 if you're just no one's paying attention, but you can in this, and that's what threw me off at first because I had forgotten that. I was about to win in round 2, and they're like,
You can't win.
Jeremy was like, well, it doesn't matter. You can't win in round 3, so we'll get him. And I was like, oh, well, there goes my game. But not that one.
The win conditions are so there are no specific win conditions for the different houses in Movie Dune, unlike Original Dune. Because in Original Dune, if you were a certain house faction, you could win based off of a specific to you condition that only you could win by. You don't have that in Movie Dune. In Movie Dune, it is the same win condition for everybody, and that is the first to control 3 strongholds at the end of turns 3, 4, or 5. Automatic win. And if nobody is able to do that, then it's whoever has the most spice at the end of the game, and you do get 5 extra spice for each stronghold you control at the end of the game. So there is a benefit to still trying to control some strongholds at the end of the game, even if you're not going to get 3 of them. That's not a win condition at all in Original Dune. Spice means nothing at the end of the game. It's important throughout the game, but it's not a win condition. So those are some huge differences between the 2 games. The fact that this is only 5 turns and it can be as early as turn 3 does mean this is going to be a quicker game than your Original Dune. You do have fewer phases as well. There's 2 less phases.
But, I mean, ultimately, they're still involved. You're just not going to do it like the Mentat pause phase, which I call it something else. That is here. I mean, you check to see if there's 3 strongholds.
You still do it. It's just
it's not
look at the
something
board.
You really. They don't tell you to monitor it.
It doesn't need an actual circle on the board. I don't.
The other one is the Chome phase, which I feel Chome is like awesome. Everybody enjoyed
yelling that out.
Yeah, saying it whenever they had to.
Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's basically charity. You're getting spice because you're broke. That is still a thing in Movie Dune. You still do get extra spice if you don't have any.
You don't.
But you don't call out Chome, which is why you should call out Chome.
Stella!
You should just do that anyhow. If you're familiar with regular Dune, incorporate that into Movie Dune.
If somebody gets charity, just make them say it.
You got to say Chome. Or you don't get it. That's a rule.
We switched it up. You had to change it to and do different puns or references. So come on.
Now, in Movie Dune, you are able now you can play 2-player in regular Dune. The rules are just that you control 2 factions, 2 houses, and you kind of play both of them separately. In Movie Dune, you can do that if you want, or you can use the special alliance boards here, and this has you play as either the Harkonnen and Imperium together, or the Atreides and Freeman together. And you're going to have special rules as you play with both of those factions, both of those houses. You're going to combine your forces and your leaders, that sort of thing. And it's really going to give you a different feel than if you're just playing 2 separate factions for each player. So those are some of the major differences as far as the gameplay. Again, with the components, Jeremy, you want to talk about what differences there are with the original Dune?
So the treachery deck here is very similar to if you were to take the battle deck and add it to the market deck, and you would have basically the treachery deck. Right. The only difference is with Movie Dune, you get battle cards every round. So Treachery deck is quite different. You're only going to get cards if you win the bidding, and that, I mean, I did not have many cards when we played. Other people had a lot of cards, and so it really, but he also had a lot of money. So when we say that the faction abilities are different, it is a way different game.
Extremely different.
I mean, it's just totally different.
Yeah.
So the treachery is similar to those. You're not guaranteed to get cards every round. So
and there's not even any bidding in Movie Dune.
yeah,
that's an important thing.
It's just you get the cards.
You just get them. Or you buy the market.
You can buy the
cards.
market, but you automatically will get battle cards, which would be nice if I had more cards to battle. But I mean, you do what you can and with what you got. So trader cards are the same.
Yep.
Only difference is like we said, factions are different. So the Harkonnen, in here you get 4 and that's it. With Movie Dune, Lance was able to just constantly get more trader cards and use them. It's way different, and I felt like that was a way easier for you.
The house
than if
power
you were to play them
abilities
here.
are so vastly different.
They're mixed, and with this you have 6. You can see you have 6 distinct houses. You'll have your player secret shield here. You have your player information board. Also have strategy tips that you want to look at. And in addition to that, there's 4 here. I would suspect that there may be an expansion in the future after future movies come out. And I think they may do that. I don't know. I can tell you with original Dune, the Tleilaxu expansion is out now. And then there's another expansion in the future with I believe Chome and Renice, I don't know how you say it. But that expansion is coming out in February 2022. I think I can fit it in this box. I'll probably have to use a baggie or something to separate it so that it fits, but I'm pretty sure it would fit. I will say one thing is the cards. I tried to sleeve them and put them in here, but then you're gonna damage the sleeve, and you're gonna, if you're someone that can tell when you look at a sleeve if it's damaged which card it is, you're probably going to see that in here. The sleeve cards, I don't think are going to fit. Maybe a penny sleeve, but I usually don't have penny sleeves.
I was asked about sleeves as well for Movie Dune, and while the well here is plenty wide enough to sleeve all of your cards, it is not deep enough. It will overflow off the top.
So I will say this, because I have to do this in the zombie side and other stuff all the times, is if what you can do is fit as many sleeves as you can in here. After you put the board folded up in the rule book, you can lay out your cards on top of that. That way when you pull out the board or the rule book, all the cards come with it, so they're not just all over the place. That's a tip. I did that kind of stuff with zombie side and stuff where you sleeve cards and they don't fit. Stacking them on there is if it will fit, if you have extra room, which you should in this.
You do have extra room in this box.
You should have a little, a couple inches, so you could stack those cards like kind of overlaying each other and fit that in there. But I think I can fit the future expansions in here. I mean, there's 6 wells, so I would believe I could do that. There's a whole lot of room for cards still. Yeah. So I think that's possible, which is good, because a great thing about this is it's an epic game in a small box that I can fit on the shelf without having 2 shelves worth like Bloodborne or something. So that's great as far as that. In a component sense, like I said, originally I thought this board, the Movie Dune board, would be the one that I liked better, just because of the detailing and the rocks here. But ultimately, the more I look at this one and everything, I like this style better. I think it's easier
more
to
distinct.
read, and to me, over time, this one just looks better. This starts to fade together. You like how I did that? So trader cards are the same. Spice cards are very similar. Some different things are, you do have prediction cards for the BGs, the Bene Gesserit, where you will, which is who I was randomly chosen to play with, and I went Atreides round 7, and if Lance would have battled a little bit better.
Didn't work out for him.
I was like OSU at the end of the Big 12 championship. Not that I was sad by that or indifferent in general, but that's how I felt. Or the Titans when we lost to the St. Louis Rams back in the day by half a yard. I mean, it's like these half a yard kind of things.
Going back 20 years.
That's how my prediction almost came through. I felt like Miss Cleo.
Oh my gosh.
In addition, you said 20 years. In addition, you do have alliance cards, so that's one thing that we haven't really hit on. Like I said, you do have these other components, and at first I was like, ooh, I don't know if I really like these. They do have different symbols for each house. They are distinct. I mean, yellow, orange, and red can look similar, but I mean, you're dealing with a limited amount of different colors, especially when you have new factions or houses coming out. So, but overall, again, the more I look at it, I mean, it's more simplistic, but I do like the look of it more now as I have it in front of me. Even these cards, the simplicity is easier to differentiate, I think, overall, and it's just cleaner look. But as far as gameplay, I mean, the battle wheel's the same. It's just a different look. And
I want to throw out there, I feel that original Dune is more classic board gaming with a modern touch to it. Whereas Movie Dune, obviously it has the licensing there, and it feels a little more mass market. I don't want to say cheap necessarily, because I think a lot of people, when they hear mass market, they think cheap. It's still a high quality game. It's just, it doesn't feel like a collector's board games as much as it does memorabilia from the movie, if that makes sense.
I think I feel like there's more spice or something, because if you look here, Greater Flat has a symbol, this one doesn't.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
So there's a little differentiation between the boards.
That card may be a little bit different.
Allow for more
spice. You can see the numbers are trying to give you a reminder of what's going there.
And we did note that, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about how the games feel and play differently. We did note that in Movie Dune, the spice tends to flow a little bit more. It's passed around a lot more. Whereas in original Dune, you might go the entire game with not getting more spice than 5. I
had 2 almost. I'm telling you,
you might be chomping a lot.
I was a BG's. I can't move. I don't have money. I felt like I was on a restriction.
So with that being the case, I do feel that original Dune is going to be a game that is a little more advanced in terms of expert play, meaning if you want to do well, you've got to learn how to adapt your gameplay to survive without having a lot of spice, to survive without being able to move a lot, to form alliances with the right players who are going to cater to your weaknesses, that sort of thing.
Or just finally get an alliance, because everybody
you might
else
not
is
get
allied
alliances until way later in the game. And then that's another thing. In Movie Dune, there are no alliances. It's just you. There's not a chance to partner up with another player.
There's no time for it. I mean, you got 5
it's a
rounds,
quick game.
So.
It's a different altogether feel. Which is exactly what they were going for when they made Movie Dune. They wanted a quicker, streamlined version of Dune that was something that could be easily accessible, taken off the shelf, put out on the table, and people would get and understand and play in under an hour and a half. The box says 60 minutes. I think it takes a little bit longer than that if you're playing 4 players, but it is exactly what they set out to do.
Well, I think it is, because you got so many Dune games right now. Most people aren't going to go out and get Dune Imperium and be like, oh yeah, I love this game, that have not been gamers. I'm talking, this is because it still has the movie kind of look to it. This one is one that maybe you saw the Dune movie, you never read it, you've never seen the original, you don't know anything about it, you see the new movie on HBO Max, and then next thing you know, you see this in Target or somewhere, and you're like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, it's only 60 minutes, 4 people, let me try that. And I think it hits that, but we'll talk about all what we prefer in a second.
So, and that's the thing with this game. It's going to be a game that a lot of people are going to find easier to get to the table because it doesn't take as long as original Dune. And it's going to appeal to those people that don't want to be so diplomatic that it feels like politics at times. Not that this is extremely diplomacy, because there are games out there that are way more diplomatic than Dune, but Movie Dune has zero diplomacy at all. And the fact that it's called a game of conquest and diplomacy is we've talked about this, we kind of joked about it. It's really interesting because
it's a game of conquest.
There's no diplomacy in it.
I read it. I was telling Lance just a minute ago. Some people I believe think that giving money to another person in the game, another player, is diplomacy. And so, because when I was reading, I've been reading more and more to try and figure out how they're categorizing this as diplomacy. But that's the only thing I think of is me having to pay someone else.
Yeah.
To do something is
it's
the
not
whole
even,
aspect of that. I feel like diplomacy is more than that.
For me, it's a choice. It's not something that I am forced to do because of the rules of the game. If I want cards, I have to pay this particular faction, and there's no two ways about it. That's all there is to it. I could play the game without ever getting cards. I'm not going to win. That's not really diplomacy. Not in this game.
Oh, not in that game. That game.
You need cards in this game to win.
Or just a hoard spice.
But in original Dune, it was a choice, right? Like, I could choose whether or not I wanted to go into an alliance with this person or pay somebody. I could adapt my strategy all outside around that.
Oh, yeah.
So
I cut Eric's legs off with the Karama card, and he could not get money for 3 rounds and had nobody on the board. I mean... And that's the choice you make. Do I? And he's emperor. He can get all the money. So if you have that choice,
right? And that's the thing. This is a game that is much more about choices.
Way more.
This is more of a game of everybody's following these same rules, and it's just about who can control the right areas at the right time, amassing your forces, and clever card play. There is good card play in that game. It's not so much choice based as this one is.
I mean, it's not a root or a vast or even a merchants. I mean, it's probably more of a merchant's code because
this is way more.
Everybody does the same.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same thing except for it can change in here, and there are different win conditions. In this one, everybody plays the same, and you have a minor asymmetric touch. So I mean, this has a very minor ability that's asymmetric. This is your way you play is different.
Yeah.
The way you play is asymmetric.
Now, let's talk about preferences here. And we talked about, as we were putting this video together, I don't think we're going to give ratings on these games because they are so vastly different, and they're meant for different situations.
I would just say, I don't think we can give ratings because we haven't played this enough. I know you've played this more. I played this once, and I played this one. I feel like I'm not going to play this one ever again because
there's not the right opportunity for it.
Well, I'm not going to get out Dune Conquest, movie Dune, for the 45-minute game. I will get out another game to do that.
You want the fuller version.
If I'm playing a diplomatic game or a betrayal type game, I want the experience to have opportunity and time to do that. So I wouldn't choose this one. I'm going to be honest with you, everybody. I'm not going to play movie Dune again. And it's not that I don't like it, it's just it's not the game that I want to play when I'm playing this style game. This is perfect, as I have said, for people that have seen the movie. They want something that's, they love this movie. They want a game about this movie, or they need a game on their shelf because all they have are classics like Monopoly and stuff, and they're branching out, or Cards Against Humanity. I think this is a perfect game for them to do that. But I will not play this game. I will play this game. And I do want to say, if you're a gamer and you play this game first, and you go to play this game, there are some pros and cons. One, you have a general sense of how to play this game overall. Con, you will want to do rules and stuff like this game for this game, and you can't because they are so different, and you'll mess up. You will not have spice in this game unless you are the Spacing Guild.
Yeah, you're going to have to definitely...
Or the Emperor. I mean, those are the two with money. Everybody else is yelling chome.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else is choming the whole game. This one, I felt like every one of us had money every time. Yes. Spice up your life. Spice Girls in this game.
So what I'll say, being since this is love to hate, hard to master, love to hate.
Both. This is a blend of both.
This is a good picture of why we have the channels that we have. Because this is perfect for, this game right here is perfect for hard to master, expert level games. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Movie Dune is just a notch above the types of games that we typically show on Love to Hate. And so with that being the case, I don't know that this is a game that I would just automatically throw out there saying, yeah, this is great for non-gamers. And the reason for that is because it is still an area control game. It is still a lots of spaces on the board. It's an intimidating board just looking at it. It is pretty straightforward a concept. However, going about making that happen with the card mechanics and battling, that's going to be overwhelming for a lot of new non-players. Now, if you are talking about somebody who's seen the movie, who's read the book, who's played, some modern board gaming, but maybe they're not like into this, then Movie Dune is probably going to be fine. But if you're talking about somebody who has never played modern board games, or has not really gotten the concept of what Dune is all about, because it is a very thematic game, then it's might be a little too advanced even still. Movie Dune. Definitely this Dune. Don't even crack this one open with non-gamers. Yeah. This is going to still maybe be a little too much, I think.
I'd say if you have someone that doesn't play any games, this will be difficult. But like anything, can they learn it and enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would say if you are gaming, it could even be poker. I think if you're someone that plays games with people regularly, I think you could pick this up and play it. Might the first game be rough? Yeah, but what's not?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody will mess up rules. They have Klingon subtitles, and they put adjustments in the review videos.
I've had to do that a few times.
So I'll tell you, everybody makes mistakes in the game. Don't be afraid to play this game if you don't play games often.
Yeah.
I think you'll still like it. I just am saying that if you're someone that likes an epic feel of a 3 to 4 hour game, and it could be 2 hours. It just depends on if you end in round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't end until the final win condition. That's the difference. But if you're wanting an epic experience, and I've heard, and this is the way we played, is to play with all 6 factions and 6 people, or 6 houses and 6 people, and you want that experience of like a short TI or something. Because I've just recently played TI, and it's an epic feeling. If you play a 9-hour game with 6 people,
it's a long game,
and you finish it, it's awesome. This gives you that in about 4 hours or so. It's not 3 to 4 hours. It's not going to be as long as the 1979 15 round one. That could go 5 to 6 hours, which I would be fine playing because we had a blast, and it went to the last second. Even though it could have ended shorter, it didn't. If you want an epic feel and you're a gamer, I strongly recommend buying this game. Yeah. Because it is only about $45.50. If you go to Barnes & Noble, you'll get the miniatures with it. I used a $5 coupon, got this copy, and you do have to paint them. They don't come painted. And I mean, it takes up so little space.
Yeah.
This is a small box. Yeah. This is like a Scarlet Pimpernel size box if you have that, or barely bigger than King of Tokyo Dark. I mean, this is a small box, and if I can fit two expansions in here and play 6 players with all this replayability, and it's an epic feeling for 3, I would strongly recommend getting this game. The expansions are only $15-20. If you want to add more replayability, if you don't want to, guess what? You playing 6 and mastering 6 houses with 6 people all the time. I mean, I like to play a different house every time until I get, until I can't. Now that's Jeremy, the game to buy.
Jeremy, you did bring up one thing that I wanted to touch on real quick, and that is replayability. This Dune, regular Dune, way more replayability than what you're going to have in Movie Dune. So that is another factor. And for price too,
it's the same price.
It's the same price, or roughly the same price.
Very similar.
Very similar. Now, granted, Movie Dune is new, and so maybe the price will come down after a few months, years. But as they are right now, they're very similar in price. And so for bang for buck, regular Dune is the better bang for buck, but it serves two different purposes.
Depends on your situation, honestly.
So in summarization with our video here, comparing and contrasting these two different games, I think what we can say to you guys out there is that it's depends upon your situation and depends upon what purpose you're trying to fulfill. Are you wanting a full diplomatic area control war game, an epic experience?
If you don't like that type, people compare Blood Rage and Rising Sun and all day. I've played all three. I prefer Rising Sun.
I prefer Blood Rage
much more, but I love the diplomacy aspect and alliances and stuff, and in Rising Sun. And I love Ankh too, and they're all different. But it's kind of what's your preference. People post, what's your preference? Blood Rage or Rising Sun? I'm a Rising Sun preferer.
Yeah.
You are a Blood Rage preferer.
Blood Rage. Actually, I'm more of a Godfather player, but that's a different story.
That's not the same. It's not a spiritual successor.
We're getting off topic.
Just the same designer.
We're getting off topic.
You went way left field.
Back to Dune.
It depends on what you want to play.
Yeah.
If you don't like those, don't get it.
If you're somebody who is looking to maybe see about getting your casual board gaming friends who've maybe not played Epic Dune before, and you're maybe wanting to try to get the foot in the door to lead to that, Movie Dune is a possible way to get that to happen.
It's a way, but you're spending $45.
It's an expensive way, yeah.
If you have somebody else that has it, like he had, because I was looking at the two, like I said, I feel like they just stripped the majority of the best parts out of this game to make this game, and we've talked about that. There's just so many good things that they took out of this to make it more streamlinable, and I understand that. But again, I would not play this one. I would play this one. If you got $45 to just blow and you want to get this one to try it out, more power to you. I preferably wouldn't. I would watch reviews and see, because if you watch two different reviews on each specific game, or 3 minutes board games or whatever, you're gonna know. And I thought that when we played this game was going to be more of it. You can remember I kept asking you, well, I thought they did this. I thought they did this. No, they don't. The powers are separated. The powers are not separated.
Yeah.
There's missing powers that you'll see from this video. You'll see if this is too much for you or if it's just enough. You'll see if that's perfect or if that's not enough.
So this is a good stepping stone to this. It's not a perfect stepping stone to this. And it's not necessarily even a necessary stepping stone.
No, you don't.
But it may be necessary for some people out there. You're just going to have to kind of determine that on your own to decide whether this is something that you want to spend the money on to get you and your gaming group to playing games like this. If you're never having any aspirations of playing games like this, this might be okay. And it might be a great experience for you. I personally feel that there are cheaper games out there that do this sort of feel and might even do it better.
I think we have some reviews on them too.
Yeah, we might. Yeah. And so that's just our opinion, guys. Leave us down in the comments down below what you think about either one of these games. Personally, I like them both. I love Dune more than Movie Dune. It does serve its purpose. I think it's pretty limited though, and I'm probably gonna play regular Dune more, even though it is 4 times as long. But it's just probably 4 times as epic.
Yeah,
so.
you're I'd say
maybe even
10 times more epic, enjoyable as far as what we enjoy.
Movie Dune, yeah.
But that's we've already said it.
Like I said, leave us down in the comment section below your thoughts on these two games. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to respond back to you guys and get your take on it. So that is, where's our boxes here? We've got
Dune vs. Dune.
Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy, otherwise known as Movie Dune, and
second edition OG Dune.
OG Dune, that's right. Both from Gale Force 9. Go check them out, guys. I'm Lance.
Chom!
Wait, you didn't say your name.
My name's Chom now. I'm always eating spice. Chom.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.